evening. My name is Pranav.
Anand, I'm responsible for pre-sales and solutions at Serviceberry.
I'm accountable for business, and we are 15 minutes away from Scotch. I know it's Friday evening. I'm missing my On the Rocks. It's Saturday. Yes, it's Saturday. Can we have the slides? So we'll be very crisp. We represent a practice that comprises of a platform that automates whatever use cases today an IT leader, HR leader, customer success leader, a product engineering leader wants to make the most out of it. And the words that we heard in the last 2 days, user experience, agility, automation, predictive analysis, proactive monitoring, integration, etc., etc., etc. Heavy words. Yes, we all know that the world of work has undergone drastic change, and that's the reason in the last 2 years, especially, we saw a lot of digitalization, where in corporates, more beyond the IT, it was the non-IT business units that were discussing and keen to adopt and adapt digitization. But there were challenges. There were a lot of challenges that we were going through, unprecedented challenges, macroeconomic headwinds, and most importantly, we all know, the tightening labor markets. So Anand and I, with help from our COE, the Center of Excellence, we came up with a framework. And we, on the whiteboard, listed, if you could have the next slide, please. We listed down the 5 key pillars in an organization. Number 1, customer experience. As the head of the customer success experience business unit, I want to deliver frictionless customer experience. We saw chatbots, we saw self-service. The whole objective is when a client is calling on a help desk or is using a voice-enabled functionality, the bare minimum we want the client to wait on the call is what we expect. Technology excellence. As an IT leader, as a CIO, I am using plethora of technologies, applications, underlying infrastructure that is today addressing the business needs of every business service in an organization, every application that today is contributing to the revenue, which means even if in a bank or a telecom industry, one of the business service goes down, why did it go down even for a millisecond? What was the root cause? We have middleware, databases, we have network devices, we have cloud, we have on-prem. This is where the magic is done with the help of the work that we do, where we build relationships with these infrastructure elements. Operational excellence is very similar to technology excellence. Finally, technology excellence leads to operational excellence. Employee experience, very important. In the last 2 years especially, we realized, right from automating onboarding a contractor, a team member, a colleague, an employee, to relocation, transfer, name change, department change, and offboarding. I remember meeting a leader in Austin, one of the known semiconductor leaders, where the HR leader comes and tells us, look, Pranav, on day 1 when my contractors and my employees join, with no compromise on their welcome, on the bouquet, the cake, the desk, the access card, access to various applications, they should be productive from day 1. Which means I'm using DocuSign, I'm using SAP, I'm using Oracle Financials, I'm using ServiceNow, I'm using blah, blah, blah. Do whatever you can. What does she mean? She meant that give me a single system of records, a single source of truth. And lastly, hyperautomation. I mean, today the CIOs expect 9 mothers to give birth to a baby in 1 month. That's how it's become. But out here, we definitely cannot go against it. The whole point is, hyperautomation is where product engineering is really helping build applications. Legacy applications homegrowns, too many of them on SharePoint, on other various platforms. We consolidate all of those. We optimize using the hyperautomation where we accelerate through low-code development. So what we're going to do is, Anand and I, we have picked up few use cases. We'll focus on some of them which we feel are of relevance critical to this audience over here. Can we have the next slide, please? Thank you. So we decided to pick up customer experience. There's a problem statement. We are reasonably manual at work. My departments are disparate or they are in silo, which means my customers and third parties are disconnected. It means that today if my client is calling and by the time my agents are internally reaching out to various departments, my client is already upset, disgruntled. I cannot expect that to happen. I cannot afford. So this is just a problem statement, easy to make by a leader, but very important for us to translate it, transform it into a solution. And the next one is, call volumes are high. Again, my agents are ill-equipped to address the client needs, which means that we want to make our clients as self-sufficient as possible, give all the necessary features and functionalities, including the one we saw on the booth where we have integrated voice assistant with a platform which helps clients to raise incidents, problems, etc. So coming back, make your clients as much as possible self-independent so that they can make the best use of the technology. Having said so, let's have the solution, Anand, that you designed with your team.
So again, chatbot, but I'm not going to discuss more about chatbot. I will explain you what exactly different what we are doing here. So what we do is basically, as we are using this use case with the ServiceNow CSM. So what we do is basically collect the information. We run the analytic on top of it. We understand the repeated incidents that are coming in from the customer. And we basically enable the workflow around it. For example, customer is asking for a particular issue. So we understand the steps and input that we may required from the customer. And based on that, we create the automation workflow for auto fulfillment. Okay? So that's how the customer can self-resolve the issue. They can check the status of their existing tickets from the chatbot. This chatbot can also integrate with the collaboration tool like Teams, Slack. Even we have a use cases where we have integrated this with WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. I'm going quick because in the interest of time. Over to you, Pranav.
So yeah, we'll be happy to share more use cases, after the event or even on emails. So, over next slide, there's another use case. Technology excellence. For an IT leader, for a CIO, what really is important that when he or she is in the office in the morning, they want to see everything green. And that's what they see on the dashboard, only to realize when they're in the office, there's a cat fight going on, there's a fight. The infrastructure blames on the application blames on the infrastructure. Why? Because there is a business service that has gone down. What does that mean? It means that either the infrastructure lying in the data center on-prem or somewhere on the cloud, the underlying infrastructure that supports the business critical application, somewhere something has gone wrong. Some element, what we call them as CI, configuration item. It could be a router, it could be a network connectivity, it could be anything that is supporting the application directly or indirectly has gone down. Which means that I need to go back and check there's a jargon called CMDB, Configuration Management Database, to locate where the problem is. So these are two such use cases where it is important to use a single platform of IT where it can integrate with the infrastructure lying over the cloud as well as on-prem and give visibility of resources in terms of their availability, in terms of their performance. At the same time, what is most important these days is auto-remediation. The CIO, the leader, does not want manual up and running of the service back. It has to be auto-remediated. And that's where we use analytics and ML to anticipate the trends.
Explain this use case. The important thing that Pranav mentioned is about the solution framework that we follow, right? So what is so great about this? So this solution framework, we have different use cases and different use cases to address a particular issue that customer normally communicate back to us, right? And we also have a different KPIs that we basically try to improve that particular use case or particular pillar of that pain that we express, that is being expressed by the customer. So we have use cases, we have a KPIs, and we have expected outcome also documented as a part of the solution framework. So this is one of the use case where you are trying to build your CMDB. CMDB is configuration management database, where you discover your CI, that is infrastructure supporting your business application, and then how that is interconnected, how it is supporting to a business application, right? So the CMDB, there are different ways you discover the CIs in the CMDB, but once you build the CMDB, you define a service map. And there are different types of service maps that you can create, but the interesting part is the machine learning service map, where it understands the network traffic flow and it basically draws the hierarchy of the IT infrastructure supporting that business application. So with this, you will have a visibility to complete IT infrastructure supporting your business application, and in case of any event, critical event on a particular CI, you understand what is impacting, what is that impact to your business service. Okay, so I'm moving quickly to the next slide. So once you understand the visibility of IT infrastructure, how it is supporting your business service, you need to understand how that is monitored, right? So you're monitoring your all infrastructure, collecting the different logs, performance logs from different monitoring tool applications. And then while you collect all this, obviously there will be a noise of events, noise of data. So what we do is basically with the three metrics that we see here, time, the tag of the CI, whether what business service it is tagged to, and the topology. We run the correlation engine and understand what is the root cause of the event. And once you understand the root cause of the event, we run the automation workflow to auto-remediate that particular problem. So this is we call as a closed loop incident management process, wherein you understand the event, you correlate it, and you run the automation engine to auto-remediate that particular problem.
I'll take one more moment here to describe another use case which is coming across to us quite common, and Joe has been part of those conversations where a lot of mergers and acquisitions happening. Now, we're talking of multiple organizations acquiring or merging, which means we're talking of merging infrastructure, letting go of some of the infrastructure, prioritizing. There are clients who are using two different platforms. To name a few, the parent company is using ServiceNow, the one being acquired is using BMC Remedy, or vice versa, or they're using Jira. There are a lot of assets, hardware assets and software assets. They have to be managed. There is a life cycle of every asset, right from onboarding, purchasing, allocating, reallocation, sunsetting, and finally, obsoleting. So all of these conversations are what that come across to Anand and I and our team when we are talking to the leaders. And then we go back and we have to conceptualize a solution around it using platforms like the one we have here, that is ServiceNow, and then we use our experience and the team to give a structure to it. So that's one of the scenarios as well.
I'm just skipping the slide for a minute.
So yeah, so we'll skip this one. We have about a minute left. Any questions? Otherwise, that's from us.
Any comment on that? Okay. Thank you, Pranav and Anand. I know we rushed you, but again, anyone who wants to talk more about some of the AI ops, some of the tooling that we are working on with ServiceNow, and any of your client settings, clients are also here. So if you guys see that there is an opportunity for the Serviceberry team. We have 150 engineers that are really good at it. They're expert at this work. And Pranav and Anand and Ashish, who is not here, they're just amazing leaders. And Ravi is here, right?
Ravi's here.
Ravi's here. So thanks for coming and appreciate you adjusting to the schedule. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Where's my phone?